Hi, how you doing? I told you I would be getting back to you on chapter 9. So I know you're thinking about this exam number 2, but I'm just going on. I'm going to go on and post these, and we'll be having to talk about them on Monday. So I'm going to go on and get them out there. So when you get a chance, you can look at these videos, this video, and these PowerPoints dealing with what we call articulations. Where two bones come together is called an articulation. And we have all these different kinds of articulations we're going to be talking about. Now, in your mind, you probably have a bias or an idea that where bones come together, there's going to be some movement, because in many cases, in many situations, that is correct, but not all. So as we talk about these articulations, these joints, in the first group of them, actually the first 2 groups of them that we're going to talk about, they're virtually immobile. Not movable at all. So the very first one is called a synostosis. I was scooting out of the way, but I don't think I'll have to move the phone to show you. But a synostosis is a joint that is composed of bone. Not very movable, is it? So where would we see a synostosis? Hang on, I'm going to run and grab something. All right, so do you remember this little booger? All right, so my question was, do you remember this little guy? This is a fetal skull, and I want you to look at the frontal bones right here. Look at them. They're paired. When you look at a skull that is representing an adult, it just looks like one bone. But in reality, the frontal bone, it consists of a pair of frontal bones that are joined together by a synostosis, a bony joint. They're fused together by bone. So how much movement do you get in that? None. No movement whatsoever with a synostosis. So you see, this is surprising, isn't it? So we then have joints that are held together by collagen fibers. And so when we talk about these are called Synarthroses. I told you you're going to love these names. It kind of drives me crazy. So the Synarthroses, we had said a bony joint is a synostosis. And a synarthrosis, I'm not good at. A synarthrosis is a joint that is composed of collagen fibers. It is spanned across from one bone to the next by collagen fibers. And it ends up, we got 3 different kinds of synarthroses: sutures, gammophyses, and syndesmoses. You see, this is fun. Okay, so it's a little annoying. I told you that the articulations section is not generally people's favorite, and it's really and truly, there's nothing terribly hard about it. It's just these words. They're all similar and not very easy to remember. So we'd said we have a synostosis. That's the fusion of bone with bone it's just solid bone between the two bones, and that's like we have with the os coxa. Remember, we said that's the ilium, the ischium, and the pubis, and here we've said the frontal bone. Same deal. They're fused together by bone, and this is a synostosis. Then the second, that's pretty much not mobile at all, is going to be the synarthrosis. And we had said underneath synarthroses, and these are joints that are held together by collagen fibers. Underneath this, we had sutures, like in this, the sagittal suture, the coronal suture, lambdoid, and squamose. So we have those. We have sutures. Then we have gammophoses. Teeth, it's what holds your teeth in. Gammophoses, and are they movable? No, I mean, hopefully not. Not if everything is normal. But then we have the syndesmoses. That's where at the bottom of your lower leg, where you have the fibula on the lateral side, remember, and it's right next to the tibia. It's connected to the tibia by a syndesmoses, and this is with long collagen fibers, and so there might be a little bit of shifting that can go on there. All right, so let's talk about the sutures. So as with any of these things, we have examples and variations underneath sutures. And so we have the serrate suture, and that's just kind of like you think of the sagittal suture. If you think it's kind of like a wavy line. It's like somebody gave you some stitches and did a really lousy job. And that would be a serrate suture. Now, if you feel on the side of your head, if you're lucky, you might be able to feel the suture between the temporal bone and the parietal bone. Now, if you might feel it's kind of like going over a curb. And that's because it is what we call a lap joint. So it's a suture that it doesn't come together flat like this. One part of it lays up on top of the other. So the temporal portion lays up on top of the parietal portion, and so it sort of laps up on top of it, and so we call it a lap suture. Now, one other, when we think about the hard palate, and if you think about the separation between the two palatine bones that come together, it's perfectly straight. And that is what we call a butt suture. It's where it's not a wavy line like we have with the serrate. It's perfectly straight. That's a butt suture. So, did we talk about everything we need to? So, with the synarthroses, we had said they consist of joints that are spanned by collagen fibers. And those collagen fibers can be really short and hold it really tight, like we see with the serrate, with the sutures and the gammophoses, teeth. Or they can be longer, where there's maybe a little bit of scoochy kind of movement there. And that was with the syndesmoses. Yes. Aren't articulations wonderful? Okay.